Have you ever just stopped and thought about that incredible nonstop workhorse inside your chest? I mean, your heart. It's this absolute marvel of biological engineering, and today we're going to break down exactly how it pulls off that perfect, life-sustaining rhythm.
All right, let's just jump right in with a fact that's kind of mind-blowing. When you're just sitting there, not doing much of anything, your heart is pumping around 5 liters of blood every single minute. To put that in perspective, that's pretty much all the blood you have in your body circulated in just 60 seconds. That's insane.
So, the big question is, right? How does this little engine manage such a massive job with just perfect precision? How does it keep that rhythm going beat after beat for our entire lives? Well, the answer is in this beautifully orchestrated process.
And yeah, that process has a name. It's called the cardiac cycle. Basically, it's the super carefully controlled sequence of events that happens with every single heartbeat. You can think of it like the complete instruction manual for just one beat. That gets repeated billions of times.
So where does this all kick off? Well, what's so fascinating is that the heart doesn't actually wait for the brain to tell it to beat. Nope, it generates its own electrical signal. It's got its own internal conductor setting the pace.
So how does it do that? How does the beat actually begin? It all starts with what you could call a tiny biological spark plug. There's this group of really specialized cells, and they're the ones generating an electrical impulse that kicks the whole thing off. That signal then spreads, kind of like a wave, across the entire heart muscle.
Okay, that term, action potential. I know, it sounds super technical. But really, you can just think of it as the electrical message. It's the command that says, hey, it's time to beat. It's just a really fast change in the electrical charge of a cell, and that's the signal that carries the instructions through the heart.
But here's the thing, right? An electrical spark by itself doesn't actually pump any blood. That signal's just the trigger. The real heavy lifting, the actual work, is done by the muscle itself. It's all about turning that electrical spark into a powerful mechanical force.
And this is where it all comes together so brilliantly. When that electrical wave, that action potential, reaches the main muscle cells of the heart, the ventricular cells, it's like it opens a gate. It lets calcium rush into those cells, and that influx of calcium is the direct trigger that makes the muscle fiber contract and squeeze. So no spark, no calcium, no squeeze. It's that simple.
So you see, the whole thing is built on this really elegant division of labor. You've got two key players. First, the pacemaker cells. They're the conductors. They generate the signal. They set the rhythm. Then you've got the ventricular cells. They're the muscle. They get the signal and do the heavy lifting, the actual contraction. It's just a perfect partnership.
Okay, so we've met our conductor and we've met the muscle. Now let's look at how their performance is timed so perfectly. Because when it comes to the cardiac cycle, timing isn't just important, it's everything.
And you can really map out the journey of a single heartbeat. First, the pacemaker cells fire off that initial spark. Second, that electrical wave travels across the muscle in a very specific, coordinated way. And third, that causes the big muscles to squeeze in perfect sequence, making sure blood gets pumped out super efficiently. It's like a precise domino effect, happening with every single beat.
And this perfect timing isn't just about being efficient. It's actually a critical safety feature. The very specific way this signal travels, its shape, and how long it takes, that whole process actually safeguards the heart against dangerous, abnormal electrical signals. It's a built-in protection system.
Which, of course, makes you wonder, what happens when this perfect system goes wrong? What are the stakes when that rhythm breaks? I mean, understanding the normal cycle really makes you appreciate just how critical it is for our health.
And the reality is, it's pretty serious. When those intricate electrical safeguards fail, the consequences can be huge. A breakdown in this cycle isn't some minor glitch. It can be potentially life-threatening. And that's exactly why a steady, regular heartbeat is such a vital sign of good health. So let's just recap the whole thing. In less than a second, which is just wild, you get this entire sequence. You got the spark from the pacemakers, then a little squeeze from the top chambers, then the big, powerful squeeze from the main chambers that sends blood out to the whole body, and finally, a quick reset as the heart refills. All of that in the space of a single beat. Now think about that. Take that 1-second cycle and just multiply it. Over a lifetime, that tiny, perfect sequence we just walked through will happen over 3 billion times for the average person. 3 billion with a B. And most of the time, without a single mistake. So that just leaves us with one final thought.
Your heart is going to perform this incredibly intricate electrical and mechanical dance over 3 billion times. So really, the next time you feel your pulse, just take a second to appreciate that incredible rhythm and ask yourself, seriously, what other machine could you possibly rely on to be that perfect?